electric knife repair. So this electric knife we've had for more than 20 years. So far, and it failed. And that's probably because I used it for cutting foam, and which means it's running for 20-30 minutes at a time, which heats up the plastic, which is a bad thing. So I've taken the screws out. The long screw is in the back, the short one was in the front, and of course I'd have already removed the blades. And this is really old. This is so old that this is a part that I made for it years ago, because the original strain relief had gotten brittle and broken apart. So I printed this on the 3D printer with a flex plastic, and I printed it in place. The newer flex plastics would work even better. So I'd printed it up to the level of the cord, put the cord in, and then printed right over it so that it's completely surrounded. So this time it's this component here. This is supposed to not move like this, but the hole in it is a big old oval now. So I'm going to try to take this apart and see if there's any chance that we can fix these. I was going to just buy a new one, but all the ones that I could find have a blade that's at least an inch shorter than this one, and I really like this one. So we'll see if we can get that out of there. And I'm not really sure how it comes apart. I think if I take these other screws out, that will let it tilt, and then I can take the little clip that's on that shaft out. And if I can take one end out, I should be able to pull it out. Let's give it a whirl. Okay, so that opens that up. Oh, and these are the part that pushes the blades, so that we'll take those out. And that should slide right out. All right. Oh yeah. And there's a bunch of the bits that used to be part of that plastic. Okay, that looks like that will slide out. And it feels like it has maybe a lithium grease on it or something for the plastic. So we'll find out if we can repair this at all. And let's see if we can get that clip off. It's really made to be pressed on, kind of a one-time thing, so I don't know if I can grab onto one of those tab areas and pull it out, or if I need a knife or something to get under there and kind of push it out. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm going to try a razor blade knife and see if I can pry that up a little bit. That is really bad. Okay. All right, well, let's look at these. So I could clean that off. It looks like it's symmetrical, so it looks like I could go either direction and it's still fine. Yep. Okay, I'll clean that. Wow, that is pretty bad condition. Well, we'll clean all that up and then see if that can be fixed in any way. Okay, I think I know the shape that this should be. Now, how do I make it that shape? So I think I need almost an oval hole. So probably straight front and back, and then the total of from here to here, that height of an opening. So should be like that. So here's a picture of the pieces that are worn. You can see the nasty shaped big holes to fill. These are the parts that I designed to fill that gap and kind of snap around that existing part. And I'm just testing it with the plastic that I already have to see how it works out. So that was the first test for these pieces, and they fit pretty well. But then I decided I need to make that base thicker, and there was room for it, and then figure out how to have them stay on there. So I added this piece around there. All right, so that's back together. It should work well enough to do at least a little bit until... Oh, this is the one that I was working on when it failed. We'll see how far we can get now. All right, so that's not as good as the one I did previous, but it does the right job. Now I've got one more pad ready for one of the chairs. After using it for a short time, I opened it back up to check the 3D printed parts to see how they were holding up. Okay, I can see a little bit of wear right there, and I can see marks there, so I know that it's touching there. So that's a little bit thicker than it should be probably, but that's okay for now. Okay. All right, so it did snap that side already, so that plastic is not good enough. Could I have made that stronger? Yep, that one piece is gone. So it looks like the one side did not, the one that was a little thicker and heavier, did not break. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna put that back in there, even though it's missing a piece, so I can get some measurements about how much I could add to that end, which would strengthen it. Okay, let's get that back in there. All right, so that extra space right there is how much longer that piece could be, which would add a great deal of strength along that edge. So I should be able to add 2 more millimeters of material. So we'll make a new one of those. We'll add some strength along there, and I could actually grind the hole bigger so that I could put a heavier piece on like this side has. But we'll start with adding 2 millimeters there and then look to see what else we can do. Okay, so I had to put a notch here. You can see where it's leaving white. So I had to notch here for the motor portion of it, the piece that sticks out. And then I see that it's marking it up there, and that's from this metal piece on each side. So I need to, okay, and it was marking the top of that when I put the top on. So this needs to be slightly shorter, and for this one I'm just going to sand it down because this isn't the right plastic yet, but it's the plastic that I had, the resin. I need a slightly less brittle kind, but I'm going to try this out and add some the lube to it and find out how that works. So I'm going to sand that out a little bit where it's has white marks, and across the top a little bit. And then I'll change the model, the computer model, a little bit before I try it again, or before I print a new one. But so far, it's got possibilities. But I don't think this plastic will hold up very well, but it should hold up enough to slice some bread.
I'm waiting for this thing to do it.
Okay, I'm not putting that clip on right now because I want to do a little testing, and it looks like it can't go far. So it's been a while now. We've used the knife for quite a few of the foam pads now, did a lot of cutting. We'll tear it apart again and see how the plastic piece is holding up. I haven't changed the plastic that I used. It was what was in the printer already, so I just kept using it and just made that part a little thicker. Let's see what it looks like now. So we're going to take this apart and do a quick check to see how the parts held up. I'd mentioned before that I plan to do a different plastic, but I don't know. This plastic might be just fine for a good long use as long as I'm not cutting foam with it. I mean, slicing bread is not the same. Okay, that part's not broken. I can see it is worn. Yeah, because that edge along the side, along the front, should be straight. Oh, and the other piece is missing. So the concept is fine. The shape is fine. I just need to use the right plastic for this. And again, I can see that this edge on the inside of that opening is no longer straight up and down. So it's ovaled out a bit. The back side seems to be holding up pretty well because all of this plastic prevents it from, or slows down, I suppose, slows down the wear of it. So if I had the right plastic, this would work out perfectly. It still works. The amount of slop is not too bad. I will watch that, and in the future when I get a different plastic that I could test, I'll go ahead and replace that. But in the meantime, I'm going to not worry about it, I guess, and we'll replace these pieces as needed or when I get the right plastic for it. And if you have an idea of which plastic, this is a resin printer, if you have an idea of which plastic to use, let me know. And I do have one new one I'm going to try pretty soon.